Welcome to the Virtual Zoo, the channel that brings the zoo right to you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the city of Chicago. And no trip around Lincoln Park would ever be complete without a visit to the Lincoln Park Zoo, America's second oldest zoological establishment. In recent years, I think it's safe to say that there's no doubt about it. The city's funds have been pouring on in. And yeah, I know, kinda feels like we were just here. Last time I proved my point with their superb Center for African Apes, but I just couldn't wait to show you the brand new, as of October 2021, and 2 years in the making, the Pepper Family Wildlife Center, formerly known as the Kovler Lion House, the name that actually makes a bit of sense. The Pepper Family Wildlife Center marks the final phase of the zoo's Pride of Chicago campaign, raising a total of $135 million, aimed at improving the zoo's husbandry and exhibit quality. But let me just tell you, improve quality they did. We'll keep it short today. I'll ramble as we continue on, but without any further ado, let's go. It all begins just outside the zoo's east entrance, or west. I guess it just doesn't really matter too much, though for our purposes, and because that's the way I filmed it, we'll be starting off just past their relatively new and modern visitor center. After a bit of walking, and already in view, is our first stop. Up ahead, a large viewing shelter, but since I don't want to give too much away just yet, we'll be continuing on to the left. So I figured it'd be best to properly start off with the old, aka the historical Kovler Lion House, located in the heart of the zoo for over a century and lying within its main mall, once the zoo's famed attraction, and now an officially designated Chicago landmark. The state-of-the-art Lion House opened originally in 1912, setting new standards for animal care and exhibitory, as well as being home to a prized collection of rare cats from around the globe. Heading inside and past this almost ancient set of doors, we'll enter what's known as the Taiwanese Great Hall. In here, it's almost impossible to miss the rich material palette of glazed brickwork, terracotta, and the Gustavino vault ceiling, lined with hundreds upon hundreds of clay tiles, all of which restored and enhanced as part of the renovations. For the years leading up to the overhaul, the entire left side of the building was once lined with atypical and almost cookie-cutter, well-detailed, old-fashioned animal cages for jaguars, leopards, cheetahs, servals, and more, leaving little to no room for its inhabitants to actually move around freely. Though if I'm quite honest, the right side wasn't really much better, as it included slightly larger but still inadequate exhibits for Amur tigers and African lions. But since its inhabitants weren't exactly living in paradise, the zoo completely overhauled the north end of the building, where moated grotto-styled outdoor tiger and lion spaces once were, in a $41 million renovation that would set new standards for animal care and bring the zoo up to date in big cat exhibits. Almost the entire length of this side of the building's interior is taken up by a large open exhibit for the African lion. Rolling hills, trees, rocks, and multiple different vantage points all make up arguably one of the greatest lion exhibits in the entirety of the US, with just over 18,300 square feet for the Pride to patrol. What you're looking at is actually one exhibit. However, its design can deceive it to appear as two separate spaces. Not only can you view them from inside the building, along this 200-foot-long stretch of glass that spreads in a variety of shapes, making it appear as if their space intercepts of yours, but back outside, we can look from two large viewing shelters, again one on both the east and west sides, out over the Pride's territory. As of this video's release, the Lincoln Park Zoo is currently home to a family of 8, now with 5 males and 3 females. Prior to the exhibit's opening, the zoo received 4-year-old male Jabari from Iowa's Blank Park Zoo, and not too long after, he was joined by sisters Zari, Cleo, and Hasira from the Riverbank Zoo and Gardens in South Carolina. The original 4 came together thanks to a breeding program initiated by the Species Survival Plan and a collaboration between the 3 parks. I guess something's gotta be working here, because just after their arrival, Zari was announced pregnant as a first-time mom, and 3.5 months later, gave birth to just a single male cub on March 15th of 2022. The first lion born at the zoo in over 2 decades. He was later named Pilipili, meaning pepper in Swahili, in honor of the Pepper family and their contributions towards the exhibit. Little Pilipili made his public debut on May 28th of that year, where I was fortunate enough to catch him during one of his first ventures out that very day, where most of this footage is coming from. Born weighing just 2 pounds, cubs like Pilipili remain dependent on their mother and the other members of the pride for up to 6 months. After about a year, he'll grow his mane, and at around 2 to 3 years, he'll leave his family in search of one of his own. Or in this case, he'll likely be transferred to another zoo. Yeah, he's cute and all, but he's losing that only child privilege pretty fast, as just a couple months ago, Zari once again gave birth, this time to 3 boys, named Pisho, meaning unexpected gift, Sidai, as in good, and Lomelok, translating to sweet. The 3 are currently being exhibited behind the scenes, and you can bet I'll be back to see them when the time comes. In place of the old lesser cat exhibits back inside, are many displays focused around protecting big cats in their native environments, and information about Lincoln Park's very own conservation efforts out in the field. Front and center, back outside, the sun shines on multiple life-sized cutouts, teaching you about how radio collars work on their friends out in the wild. More basic information. These innovations also include a food zip line, though I've never actually seen it working. However, the cherry on top has to be the copy, a large and realistic rock formation, effectively splitting the habitat in 2, though apparently this can actually be done with a movable fence along the top. Now for this, we'll be heading back inside into the Lion Loop, just off the main hall, a narrow semicircle of a pathway that allows visitors to view the lions on your right in the main habitat, on your left in a climate-controlled space which they can access from above, and the king of the savannah, not the jungle, can even walk above your head as they cross from one space to another, making for possibly one of the most iconic sights you'll ever see in a zoo. I mean, man, there are so many viewing spaces. Oh, hey zoo tours, see what I mean? Though this would be quite the fitting ending indeed, we're not quite done just about yet. Heading to the complete other side of the building are relics of the past. The 5 former outdoor cat cages that have been here way before anything we just saw haven't really changed much, though they did house a variety of species over the years. Starting from the east, the first 2 are currently occupied by the Canadian lynx, a species who I've had a hard time with for as long as I can remember. No worries though, because the third enclosure down is the red panda, a Chicago resident that's been here for a long time. And finally, our last 2 stops, one of which was formerly home to a Amur leopard and now dedicated to the snow leopard, an elusive cat from one of the most unforgiving places on the planet, the Himalayas. Though if you'd like to see more of them, you can go ahead and click on that card above, where I covered the species in depth in one of my greatest tours to date. And that just about does it for the Pepper Family Wildlife Center. Other than the exhibit's name, and maybe the lack of privacy in the lion exhibit, I would definitely agree that this was a well-needed upgrade and will bring in crowds for years to come, inspiring many to protect one of Africa's most iconic species. A simple design, yet so innovative, it will set new standards for big cat exhibitory. Next time we're back at Lincoln Park, we'll take it easy and tour through the award-winning macaque forest. But till then, thank you for watching, stay tuned, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on the Virtual Zoo.